We got to play fast and with effort and execution. Let's go!
Welcome back to Pitt Beyond the Script alongside Pat Bostic. I'm Rob King of AT&T Sportsnet. Pat, let's get to the game that Coach Narduzzi afterwards basically said was an ugly game, an ugly win for the Panthers. But you'll take the victory even despite the way it came about.
Yeah, it's kind of a coach's dream. I mean, you win a game by 11 points and you've got a lot to correct. I'm certain the film room Sunday after the game wasn't a pleasant place to be. There were a lot of mental errors, obviously some undisciplined moments that you play a team like Louisville, you got to eliminate those. You're going to lose the football game. So fortunately, the Panthers were able to make enough plays to win.
Pick it over the middle and a touchdown to Wayne.
That's obviously all you want, and you got to learn from those mistakes. So a lot of them are correctable, and the things you're concerned about, obviously moving forward, are the kicking game. That's going to be critical. You're going to play a lot of close games. This schedule does not get any easier as we move forward. So the kicking game, it's critical, and then running the football. Took a step back against Syracuse. I think that's a good defense, but there was cause for concern with the inability to generate a running game.
Well, you talk about the kicking game, but also within the kicking game, and the field goals, right? 2 missed and 1 dropped on the snap, so Kessman didn't get a chance to kick that one, was in the punt game. You get a couple of penalties. That wound up costing him 30 to 40 yards in field position. You can't have that either, pre-snap penalties and penalties in the kick.
Yeah, I mean, the field in the first quarter was tilted this way. I mean, Pitt down here, Syracuse up here. So it wasn't good. But you were able to get out of that with a couple big plays on offense. But the pre-snap stuff is what makes coaches lose their hair, go gray. It's the preventable stuff that mature veteran football teams shouldn't do. And that's why Pat Narduzzi probably lit into his team on Sunday, because you're knowing that you're going against a team like Louisville, then you got NC State, then you start getting the Clemsons of the world. Miami looks really good. Some teams on your schedule that you can't give them anything, or you're going to get beat. And the Panthers gave Syracuse enough to stay in that game. They're fortunate to get out with a win.
On the television broadcast, they're talking about the Panthers leading the nation in drop passes last year. We saw that happen again. As a former quarterback yourself, I know that's frustrating. But again, if you're going to be a team that wants to be able to control the clock and that prevents you from getting a first down, you can't have those kind of mistakes either.
Yeah, the one drop from Lucas Kroll, obviously he didn't play in the opener against Austin Peay. It was a little banged up. His first game action. The one drop's on a critical third down. And you keep drives alive. You're able to put points on the board there and put a team like Syracuse away. Honestly, you outplayed them. You should put them away, but it's drops like that not only do they hurt you in terms of the short term, they hurt you long term. Because, like it or not, you're Kenny Pickett. There's a couple drops start to string together. You get little voices in your mind like, should I go there? And he, at the end of the day, needs to trust his reads, and the defense will dictate where the ball goes. It shouldn't matter who the receiver is. I think he's got enough confidence in those guys that I think those guys will bounce back, particularly Lucas Kroll. But certainly, drop passes, you start saying, oh, not this again. And we don't want that to be a portent of what's going to happen throughout this season.
Let's remember, we are talking about a victory. So there's some good things that did happen. Kenny Pickett, I know you mentioned it on your radio broadcast, an unbelievable on-a-line throw to the freshman Addison, who's been really impressive. Clearly, they're trying to find ways to get him the ball, but love the throw by Pickett.
A little bit of pressure, steps up in the pocket, throws deep, and a touchdown for the Panthers.
Hopefully, we're seeing this offense grow into something that can not only drive the ball, but also come up with some explosive plays.
Yeah, the Panthers struggled in the red zone last year, and part of that, obviously, is the inability to run it, but part of it, too, is a lack of big plays to score touchdowns before you get to the red zone. And Pickett threw a touchdown in the high red area to Jordan Addison, which was about the 30-yard line. It was a beautiful throw, 35 yards on a strike. It's an NFL throw. Not a lot of guys can make that throw, and he was able to deliver it, obviously, to the freshman. And then the ball to Jared Wayne down the middle, him in his first game of the year, to punch that inside the red zone, to put points on the board, kind of to put that to a double-digit game, was a big-time play. So there's enough on tape that this offense has a chance to be really good. Got to eliminate the penalties and self-inflicted wounds, the drops. And then I just think they need to be a little bit more consistent in the run game. But I love what I see from Kenny Pickett. Number 8 under center gives you a chance to win anytime you line up.
We can't, move on to the Louisville game before we talk about the defense. You'd love 3 sacks in the game. How about 3 sacks in the first quarter?
Cuse is going to run a play. Here comes Rashad Weaver in for the sack.
6 TFLs, and then 7 sacks for the game. I thought they set the tone early and then came up with big plays when they needed it too late.
Yeah, the sacks early. I mean, it wasn't like it was a sieve to the quarterback. I mean, they were coverage sacks too, which is what you really love to see. Obviously, you lost Amari Mathis before the season started. You got Marquez Williams and AJ Woods playing out there opposite of Jason Pinnock. Those guys are solid in coverage on the back end, allowing those defensive linemen to go to work, even when you have a 3-4 man rush. That's big time, because then you're dropping 7-8 in coverage. You're able to occupy underneath zones, not give quarterbacks quick throws or running lanes, and get there with 4. Pat Narduzzi, if he had his druthers, would rush with 4 and cover. You love the blitz on 3rd down, but if you can generate a 4-man pass rush, it opens up Pandora's box for what you can do on offense.
Trying to find a screen, and that ball was picked off, intercepted by Paris Ford.
And offensively cleaning up just a couple of things perhaps, because Louisville probably, I mean, look, this is a high-powered offense. You might need to call on your offense to come up with some big drives or some big points in this game.
I'm not good at predictions, but I would say you're going to need to score more than 21 to beat this Louisville team. And so you got to go out this week and you got to execute. You got to score in the red zone. Those field goals you missed, they can't be a problem because you can't settle for field goals. You got to score 6 and get that extra point, obviously, for 7. But this will be a game where you got to score. Kenny Pickett and this offense need to take a big step, and the defense needs to continue doing what it's doing. But also, just keep in mind, this is going to be a different level of offense coming into Heinz Field this week, one they have not seen this year.
Pat, thanks very much. Look forward to your call coming up on Saturday.
All right, Rob, thank you.
All right, coming up next, first of all, Casey's going to be with Coach Narduzzi talking more about this Louisville game. Wanted to let you know about that. Also, we're going to catch up with Coach Waldrum of the women's soccer team when we resume on Pitt Beyond the Script.
Big Jack D. Red! Big Jack D. Red! Big Jack D. Red!